Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
Good morning, America. Things heating up in the NBA and the NHL.
Staying alive.
Sports, Janae was sending us all the stats in the text messages.
We were just happy to sing along to staying alive. That's all Gio and I are here for. Thank you for joining us this morning. Overnight, police officers making arrests at the University of Pennsylvania during pro-Palestinian protests, and word of a plan to occupy one of the school's buildings. Also unrest overnight at the University of Chicago.
We will also have the latest on Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito after that image obtained by the New York Times of an upside-down flag flying outside his home 3 years ago, just after the January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol. The inverted flag, a symbol adopted by some 2020 election deniers.
But we begin with that deadly weather in the south. At least 7 people now reported killed in catastrophic storms in Texas. President Biden approving a disaster declaration for the state overnight. And just outside of Pittsburgh, a confirmed tornado knocked down trees and power lines. Samara Theodore is here with the very latest as these storms now move east today. Samara, good morning.
Good morning, Whit. In fact, we have video of that tornado in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It was an EF1 tornado. Maximum winds 105 miles per hour. Hit the Highland Park neighborhood, as well as causing damage to some Pittsburgh Zoo, to the Pittsburgh Zoo. And this is the 23rd consecutive day where we've had at least one tornado reported or confirmed. They have a flood warning up in Pittsburgh this morning. You know who else has the threat and potential for flooding? Down along the Gulf Coast, from New Orleans to Mobile, right into Tallahassee. We could see flooding, not only flooding, but some flash flooding. Now, these warnings and watches will expire eastward as the day wears on, but as we move east, our threat for severe weather starts to grow. Damaging winds, flash flooding, and tornadoes possible in this area in this zone in yellow from Destin to Savannah. Let's look at the forecast. Janae, back to you.
It has been weeks that we have started off our weekends tracking those storms or some kind of severe weather event. Samara, thank you. Now to the new video obtained exclusively by CNN that appears to show music mogul Diddy assaulting his then girlfriend, singer Cassie, in a Los Angeles hotel in 2016. The incident appears to support allegations outlined in a lawsuit against Diddy last year. ABC's Melissa Adon is here now with the details and a warning for those at home, Melissa, because these images are extremely disturbing to see.
Yes, Janae. So rapper Sean Diddy Combs is facing lawsuits with accusations of sexual assault and sex trafficking, all which he has denied. But now this exclusively obtained video by CNN showing a domestic violence altercation. And yes, we want to warn you, this video does show domestic violence and it is difficult to watch. This morning, a look at the disturbing hotel surveillance video exclusively obtained by CNN of music mogul Sean Diddy Combs amid several assault allegations. The video from March 2016 reportedly shows Combs attacking his then-girlfriend, singer Cassie Ventura, throwing her to the ground near an elevator in a Los Angeles hotel, then seen kicking her twice and trying to drag her away. Ventura's attorney responding to the video stating the gut-wrenching video has only further confirmed the disturbing and predatory behavior of Mr. Combs. Words cannot express the courage and fortitude that Ms. Ventura has shown in coming forward to bring this to light. The incident appears to support Ventura's claims, long denied by Combs, from a now settled lawsuit filed last November, stating around March 2016 at the Intercontinental Hotel in Century City, Los Angeles, Mr. Combs became extremely intoxicated and punched Ms. Ventura in the face, giving her a black eye. The lawsuit was settled outside of court for an undisclosed amount with no admission of wrongdoing. Ventura's husband posting a letter on Instagram he says he wrote a while back condemning domestic violence, writing in the caption, "I want my kids and every kid to live in a world that's safe for women and girls, protects them and treats them as equals." This comes months after federal authorities raided Combs' LA and Miami homes, seizing his electronics. Sources tell ABC News the rapper is at the center of an ongoing federal investigation into human trafficking. Combs' attorney calling the raids a witch hunt, adding Mr. Combs is innocent and will continue to fight every single day to clear his name. Now, ABC News did reach out to Combs for a comment and have not heard back. Meantime, the National Domestic Violence Hotline is available 24/7 for anyone who needs help. The hotline currently experiencing long wait times and call volume, but anyone who needs help is encouraged to call that number 1-800-799-SAFE. Gio?
Incredibly disturbing video. All right, Melissa, thank you so much.
This morning, Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito is under fire. The New York Times obtaining this photo of an American flag flying upside down, reportedly at Alito's home in the days just after the January 6th riot. ABC's White House correspondent Mary Alice Parks joins us now from Washington with more. Mary Alice, good morning.
Yeah, well, good morning. The central question here is whether Justice Alito or someone from his family was trying to show solidarity with those who wanted to subvert the 2020 election results, or even with those who stormed the Capitol on January 6th. Now, according to the New York Times, the American flag flew upside down for days at the Alito house right before President Biden's inauguration. Flags, of course, are never supposed to be flown upside down unless to signal great distress. But former President Trump supporters had adopted that upside down flag as a symbol, some even carrying it as they stormed the Capitol. Now, Justice Alito has not replied to our request for comment, but blamed his wife in a comment to the Times and has downplayed the incident. Still, the leading Democrat on the Senate Judiciary Committee, Dick Durbin, is calling for Alito to recuse himself from all January 6 related cases. The court is expected to rule on 2 cases related to the attack on the Capitol in the next few weeks, including one about whether Trump has immunity for his actions. Now, since the news broke, several legal scholars have been questioning whether Alito showed bias here and damaged his credibility. Of course, even the perception of a conflict of interest could be problematic and undermine faith in the courts. Janae.
And that is one of the concerns, Mary Alice. Thank you. Overnight, pro-Palestinian protests on university campuses heating up around the country. Philadelphia police officers swarming the University of Pennsylvania, taking several demonstrators away in handcuffs. Members of the Penn Gaza Solidarity saying they were planning to occupy one of the school's buildings. And protesters at the University of Chicago surrounding that school's Institute of Politics buildings. A line of students standing with their arms interlocked, barricading the back of the building. ABC News contributor Heidi Heitkamp was actually doing a Zoom interview with ABC News Live when some protesters entered her office. She said that she could hear them saying, one even mass, that she needed to leave, and she realized that they were trying to occupy the Institute of Politics. She thankfully was not harmed, and Heitkamp is safe. Gio.
All right, Janae, now to the American woman arrested in Turks and Caicos after police there say a few rounds of ammunition were found in her luggage. She's now telling her story as she is detained in the country, and Morgan Norwood is following this one. And Morgan, this seems to be happening more and more.
Yeah, it certainly seems that way. And to your point, in fact, Sharita Greer is the 5th American arrested on Turks and Caicos for ammunition in their luggage, all within recent months. She has since been released, but she is still stuck on the islands. This morning, she says she is in shock and had no idea those bullets were in her bag.
This morning, a Florida mom speaking out for the first time after she was jailed on the islands of Turks and Caicos, accused of bringing bullets in her luggage. Sharita Greer talking with ABC affiliate WFTV.
We searched the bag and said they found 2 rounds in the bottom of my duffel bag carry-on.
Greer was on her way home from a Mother's Day trip with her daughter last weekend when officials say they found 2 rounds of ammunition at the bottom of her suitcase.
I didn't know what was going to happen because I couldn't believe they was in there.
Greer is the 5th American in recent months to be arrested under a strict new amendment to a law already on the books in Turks and Caicos. It calls for up to 12 years in prison for anyone found in possession of illegal guns or ammunition. Brian Hagrick and Ryan Watson arrested and charged under that same law this year. They're still on the island awaiting sentencing. They say they spoke to Sharita at the police station this week.
We were completely shocked. Part of our goal for all of this was to not have somebody else have to go through the situation that we've gone through. And unfortunately, here we are again talking about this yet again with now a 5th American.
And Greer was released on a $15,000 bond. She can't leave the island until her case is complete. She also must report to the police station every week. Her next court date is set for July. But the U.S. State Department continues to remind Americans to check their luggage before heading to Turks.
In fact, this keeps happening. Just incredible. All right, Morgan, thank you. The man convicted of attacking former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband has been sentenced to 30 years in federal prison. David DePape was convicted of assault and attempted kidnapping of a federal official in November. Body camera video showing him hitting Paul Pelosi with a hammer just as police arrived at the home. Pelosi suffered a fractured skull and other injuries.
All right, we're turning overseas now to the Israel-Hamas war, as the Israeli military says it has recovered the bodies of 3 hostages. All of them, Israel says, were killed during the October 7th Hamas attack. ABC's Marcus Moore joins us live from Tel Aviv with the very latest. Good morning to you, Marcus.
Janae, good morning. We are at Hostage Square here in Tel Aviv, this place that pays homage to the hostages still in captivity and those who lost their lives. And as you can imagine, for their families, each and every day, there's a roller coaster of emotions. And now comes news of a grim recovery. This morning, we are learning more about those 3 Israeli hostages now confirmed dead by the Israeli Defense Force. Israel announcing it recovered the bodies of 23-year-old Shani Lok, 28-year-old Ahmet Bouskala, and 57-year-old Itzhak Galarenter, who were reportedly found in a tunnel after being taken hostage by Hamas gunmen on October 7th. Israeli Defense Forces saying all 3 were killed by Hamas while they were trying to run from a music festival that Hamas gunmen raided in southern Israel, and their bodies were taken back to Gaza. In a statement, the remaining hostage families putting pressure on Israel for urgent action to, quote, swiftly bring back all our brothers and sisters from their cruel captivity, both living and deceased.
Not all of them. We don't believe all of them are alive. We don't know exactly what the breakdown is.
The White House swiftly waving off concerns that this latest release of deceased hostages could impact ceasefire talks.
It's difficult to see how this grim news today is going to have a major effect on the hostage deal negotiations.
Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu calling the news, quote, heartbreaking, and saying we will return all our hostages, both the living and the dead. Netanyahu also visiting troops near Rafah earlier this week for the first time since the start of the war, as the IDF doubles down on its operations there. This as the first shipments of desperately needed humanitarian aid rolls into Gaza from the newly built U.S. floating pier. And this morning, Israeli officials say there are 129 hostages still in captivity, and officials say that 37 of them are presumed dead. At the same time, the Biden administration says that at least 5 Americans are among those hostages still in captivity.
All right, Marcus Moore for us. Thank you. We are staying overseas now and the war in Ukraine. Russian troops moving on with their assault on the Kharkiv region and the new message from Vladimir Putin on Russia's next moves. ABC's foreign correspondent James Longman is live for us in Ukraine with the latest. James, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Whit. It was another night of air sirens and the distant thud of air defenses as Kharkiv defended itself from missile and drone attacks. This incursion by Russia started a week ago, but now Vladimir Putin is saying he doesn't want to occupy Kharkiv. Speaking in China, he said he only wants to create a buffer zone to stop Ukraine from attacking Russian territory. He's always framed this invasion as a defensive one, that Russia is the victim. And this was very much a message to his own people and perhaps to China, helping, of course, to pay for his war effort. He also used the word today. So he may not want to occupy Kharkiv right now, but as ever, his plans might change. And I spoke to President Zelensky this week. He said the situation was incredibly serious. Some 8,000 people have had to flee their homes in the northern Kharkiv region already. And they're dealing with massive weapon and ammunition shortages. But a bigger issue for Ukraine is manpower. And that is why this week they've passed a new law which requires criminals to sign up for the war effort. Guys.
All right, James, thank you so much for reporting. And back here at home, a huge defeat for the United Auto Workers, which is trying to expand its membership in the South. Thousands of Mercedes-Benz workers in Alabama voting against joining the union. This comes now a month after the UAW won an organizing drive of more than 4,000 Volkswagen plant workers in nearby Tennessee. The union's president saying the vote isn't a failure, but it's a bump in the road. To the NBA playoffs now, and the Pacers tying things up with a Game 6 win over the Knicks. ABC's Ike Ajachi is here with the highlights and a look ahead to tonight's Thunder-Mavericks matchup. Good morning, Ike.
Good morning. Good morning. Knicks fans, they're going to have to wait just a little bit longer for this one. It was a good game, though, last night, but hey, this is the playoffs, right? The Pacers pushing the series to a Game 7 last night. Indiana defeating the Knicks 116-103, maintaining their perfect postseason home record. Now, the game was close until the second quarter when the Pacers began to pull away. Pascal Siakam leading the way for Indiana with 25 points. The Pacers sharing the ball last night with 6 players reaching double figures. Now, Jalen Brunson finishing with 31 points, but hitting a tough stretch in the middle of the game. At one point, going 0 for 11. Now, Deuce McBride, a fan favorite, going 8 for 12 and notching 20 points in the starting effort. The team hoping he can carry that over to the Game 7 on Sunday night in New York, right here on ABC. Now, meanwhile, the playoff action continues tonight. The Oklahoma City Thunder down 3-2, traveling to Dallas to take on the Mavericks in a must-win game to keep their playoff hopes alive. 2 MVP finalists, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Luka Doncic, hoping to take their respective teams to the Western Conference Final, where they'll take on the winner of the Minnesota Timberwolves and Denver Nuggets. Now, Anthony Edwards helping hand the Nuggets their worst playoff loss in franchise history during Game 6. Now, we asked with defeating 3-time MVP Nikola Jokic just one more time in order to take the Timberwolves to the Western Conference Series for the second time in franchise history, guys.
That Nuggets loss was a tough one.
Oof, it was bad. It was
Another
really
winner, though, that suit.
Yeah, that suit, man.
Looking good.
Yeah.
Ron Burgundy, you stay classy.
San Diego.
Good.
All right. Now let's take a look at some of the other big stories that we're following on this Saturday morning. Happening right now, deadly storms with 7 tornadoes. Reports across 4 states just on Friday alone. At least 7 people are now reported killed after powerful winds reaching over 100 miles per hour and a tornado left a trail of destruction in the Houston area. President Biden approving a disaster declaration for the state of Texas overnight.
Also right now, some encouraging news for the economy. The Dow closing above 40,000 for the first time in its 139-year history. The record coming after new numbers were released this week showing inflation easing.
And it was a great week for the Las Vegas Aces. The WNBA players not only received their championship rings and got to hang their second title banner, but each player on the team's roster was also gifted $100,000. The Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority sponsoring the gifts, saying it just wants each member to keep playing and representing the city. Now you can watch the WNBA doubleheader this afternoon. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever face the Liberty at 1 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Sparks taking on the Aces at 3 p.m. right here on ABC.
And you know what you can do after that?
You can stick around for World News Tonight and Whit Johnson.
There you go. That's right. No need to turn the channel. Just keep
Baby's on earlier.
That's right. Yeah. All right. We do want to start this half hour, though, with a closer look at the top political headlines this week. And joining us from Washington, our White House correspondent, Mary Alice Parks, and ABC News contributor, Asma Khalid. Good morning to both of you. It's great to have you. So, Mary Alice, let's start with you there, because both President Biden and Donald Trump back on the campaign trail, and Trump returning to Minnesota. And this is a state that hasn't gone for a Republican nominee for president since Richard Nixon. We were checking the almanac on that one. So what needs to happen for this state to turn red?
Yeah, when the former president was there in Minnesota overnight, and he claimed that this state is in play, that he has a shot of winning there. But look, a lot would need to go wrong for Biden, for Trump to win that state back. This is a blue state with a Democratic governor. Democrats control both chambers in the state house. In 2020, despite what Trump says, Biden actually won really big there by 7 points, over 200,000 votes. Now, in 2016, Trump did get within fighting distance of Hillary Clinton. He only lost to her by about 44,000 votes. That year, there were a number of votes, about 7%, that went to independent and third-party candidates. So I do think that if, for example, RFK Jr. or another sort of leading independent candidate were to get on the ballot there, that could potentially make a difference. And in 2020, when Biden did so well, he did so by really running up the score in the cities, in Minneapolis and St. Paul. There's, of course, 2 ways to win an election. You can get your base to come out, or you can also flip those swing voters. He really got his base out in 2020. And I think that Republicans are looking at some of the divisions in the Democratic Party right now, especially over the war in Gaza, and they're wondering if they can take advantage of that. They're wondering if Biden can get the same numbers out in Minnesota this year. So we'll see.
All right. And Asma, I want to bring you in, because turning to President Biden, who has stops in Atlanta and Detroit this weekend, really leaning in on black voters. When you talk about black voters, it is, I mean, so wide, even from Atlanta to Detroit. 2 very different cities. How is his support among black voters, and what are the challenges he's facing?
Yeah, I mean, the president certainly does seem to have some weaknesses that we see in the polls when we talk about black voters, particularly young black voters. And if you look at a state like Georgia, Biden won the state of Georgia in 2020 by the slimmest of slim margins. It was just around a little less than 12,000 votes. And what he did in that state was really stitch together a multiracial coalition. I was just in Georgia. I got back a little little bit ago. And what I was doing was talking to organizers, black organizers, young youth organizers, and they tell me that they are worried. And they're not really worried that huge numbers of voters will decide to vote for Donald Trump this fall. What they're worried about is that some folks will stay home. And it's not, necessarily just about the war in Gaza, though that's certainly a hot button issue on college campuses. It's also about things like, many young voters told me that they are dissatisfied that the president has not put forth comprehensive changes and reforms around things like voting rights and criminal justice reform. And I would say the Biden campaign knows this is a big priority. It's why we're seeing the president at Morehouse and then speaking at this NAACP event in Michigan on Sunday.
And Uzma, also this week, we found out about 2 debates happening. One of them will be held right here on ABC. Who has more to prove here?
Oh, gosh, who has more to prove? I think both men have a lot to prove. A lot of voters are very concerned. We hear this time and again about both Trump and Biden's age and competence in this regard. I think, what I hear from the Biden campaign, though, is that they believe that voters are not paying attention and have not tuned in that this November will be a contrast and a choice between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. They are hoping that a one-on-one debate between these 2 men will really crystallize that contrast in voters' minds. And the other thing I'll say is that this is not going to be a traditional debate where there's a live audience. And the Biden folks think that that is potentially to their advantage. It eliminates the idea of a spectacle where folks can either cheer or jeer, and they believe will allow people to really tune in on the issues. But we'll see, because thus far, a lot of folks are not yet really paying attention.
Yeah, we'll see if everybody follows those rules as well. Mary Alice, let's turn back now overseas in the war in the Middle East, because the U.S. completing that new pier to help deliver aid to Gaza. How could this impact the relationship between the U.S. and Israel?
I mean, this is a massive project, $320 million, a huge logistical undertaking, 1,000 U.S. troops deployed to try to make this work. But still, real questions about whether it is actually a sensible solution. I mean, the aid groups we talked to say there is just absolutely no substitution for those land crossings, that is how most aid would still be able to get into Gaza. And just a few miles away, we know that Israel seized control of that Rafah border crossing with Egypt. They have stopped it. They have shut it down. Absolutely closed it. They've let no aid in. So again, really big questions about how much pull the U.S. really has here. They've been demanding Israel open that land crossing, open that land border, but Israel has not done that. And the aid groups I talked to this week just really feeling absolutely desperate. They have starving children. They are talking about children being on the brink of famine, no medicine getting in, and no people getting out of that land crossing, regardless of what happens with this pier, guys.
Mary Alice Parks and Uzma Khalid, thank you so much for joining us here. Fascinating conversation. Thank you so much.
And a look at one of the most infamous men on the planet. Andrew Tate made a name for himself on social media for the so-called manosphere he influences, even as he and his brother face serious allegations of human trafficking, all claims that they deny. ABC's Patrick Reevell traveled to Romania to track them down as part of an investigation for ABC's Impact by Nightline on Hulu. Patrick, good morning to you. He's facing 3 legal cases in 2 different countries, and he is extremely influential.
Good morning, Janae. Yeah, we actually spent more than a year looking into Andrew Tate, a man who's likely very familiar to the parents of teenage boys. He's presented himself as a masculine role model, but as you say, he's now facing legal cases in 2 countries on allegations of abusing women.
Andrew Tate, known as the king of toxic masculinity.
I will state right now that I am absolutely sexist and I'm absolutely a misogynist.
The former kickboxer turned male influencer has built up a huge following online, mostly among young men. But in real life, Tate is now facing 3 legal cases in 2 countries, all on allegations of abusing women. For 18 months, Tate and his younger brother Tristan have been awaiting trial here in Romania, where they've lived for years. The brothers charged with human trafficking, forming an organised criminal group, and Andrew with rape. The Tates vehemently denying the charges that they sexually exploited 7 women.
Are you ready for this to go on for a long time? I mean, it's obviously...
I'm built for war. It's fine.
The Tates are also facing similar allegations from years earlier in Britain, before Andrew was famous. Evie is one of 4 British women now pursuing a civil case against Tate on allegations of sexual assault from 2013 to 2014, which he denies. ABC is not giving Evie's real name over concerns she could face retribution from Tate's fans.
So we were having sex and he strangled me until I passed out.
Did he say anything to you?
Yeah, so he sort of kept saying things like, "Oh, I own you, you're mine," kind of quite like possessive things. He was quite aggressive and kept kind of like holding me against the wall by my neck.
Evie didn't go to the police at the time, but she did tell others about various parts of the alleged incident, who later confirmed those conversations. British police investigated the other 3 women's allegations, but after 4 years, prosecutors declined to prosecute, citing insufficient evidence. The women allege the case was mishandled. Tate's spokesperson said he vehemently denies these accusations and does not condone violence of any kind towards women. He is saddened that a few opportunistic women who he's allegedly spent time with nearly a decade ago have decided to try and take advantage of his current situation. The Tates also now facing another new criminal case in the UK on allegations also of human trafficking and rape. Allegations they deny.
The Tates deny those charges as well, but the brothers are also facing allegations that they were selling a course online that anti-trafficking experts allege was teaching methods that resemble sex trafficking techniques. The Tates also deny that. We look into all of this a lot more in our Hulu special, a lot really to dig into around this figure who has so much influence on young boys. Guys.
Absolutely. An extraordinary investigation. Patrick, thank you and the team for all of your reporting on this. We appreciate it. The full episode of Impact by Nightline Into the Manosphere is now streaming on Hulu.
2 singing superstars heading to the big screen in a movie adaptation of the hit Broadway musical Wicked, hoping to bewitch the box office. ABC's Will Gans is here with more. And Will, good morning. I bet you're dancing through life and feeling popular this morning.
Oh, I love that, Gio. I'm so ready for all the Wicked references. Okay, it's the second highest grossing Broadway musical of all time, and certainly the most osmopolitan. And the trailer is still trending on YouTube this morning, but will all the hype translate to seeing green at the box office?
Has there ever been a movie trailer quite this popular? Fans and even some cast members of the Broadway blockbuster reacting in real time to the Wicked trailer.
Because you could wear this.
She's so evil. Diabolical.
They just want to make me cry. I'm just going to be crying for the next 6 months.
The studio spending a whole lot of green to make this movie, to the tune of an estimated $145 million. Scary, yeah, when you consider the other movie musicals that coughed up a $100 million hairball not so long ago.
Curious cat. Movie musicals always come in with their backs against the wall. It's one of 2 genres that come in with predisposition bias against it, because people go, I don't like musicals or I don't like horror movies. They don't like it, they don't like it.
But when fans like it,
Mamma mia, here I go again.
movie musicals pull in big brassy box office numbers. And sometimes they even win Oscars.
I like to be in America, okay by me in America.
So will the musical bubble burst, or will Wicked defy gravity?
The best way to bring folks together is to give them a real good enemy.
The ingredients of a successful movie musical: built-in fan base, we've got that. Memorable soundtrack, we've got that. And solid performances look like we're set there too. You guys, it's out this Thanksgiving.
Ooh, we'll be right back.
Get 3 home broadband free for up to 6 months with our 30-day satisfaction guarantee. And for only $39.99 a month after that. 6 months free available to 3 customers excluding business and broadband customers. Applies to 5G home broadband plans only. Subject to coverage. 24-month minimum term. Direct debit and annual price increase. Speeds may vary. Visit in store or at 3.ie.
We've got the exclusive view behind the table. Every day, right after the show, while the topics are still hot, the ladies go deeper into the moments that make the View the View. The Views Behind the Table podcast. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
First, the deadly storms battering the South. At least 7 people now reported killed. Let's go back to Samara Theodore, who's here with the latest. These storms on the move, headed east now. Samara, good morning.
That's right. Right now, we are seeing lightning and heavy rain batter parts of New Orleans on the Florida coastline. This is Pensacola, Florida Earth Cam there. You can see now with that radar looping that we have showers making their way through some of our Gulf Coast states, including Mississippi, into parts of Mobile. Green denotes the flood watch, but where we're seeing red, flash flood warnings in place. That includes Pensacola. As this line continues eastward, we get that daytime heating, the sun coming up. We have a threat for severe weather. These storms could be strong, bringing with them maybe a few spin-up tornadoes from Destin and Tallahassee all the way to Savannah and Brunswick. That's a look at the forecast. Janae, back to you.
All right, Samara, thank you. Now to the disturbing hotel surveillance video exclusively obtained by CNN that appears to show Sean Diddy Combs attacking his then-girlfriend, singer Cassie Ventura, back in 2016. Ventura is seen being thrown to the ground near an elevator in a Los Angeles hotel and then being kicked twice while being dragged away by Diddy there in a towel. Her attorney saying the video supports Ventura's claims of assault that have long been denied by Combs. Ventura's lawsuit was settled out of court last November for an undisclosed amount of money with no admission of wrongdoing. Combs has not commented on that disturbing video.
All right, Janae, and the summer rush is almost here. Millions of Americans, they are getting ready to hit the roads and take to the skies for what's expected to be a record-breaking summer travel season. ABC's Alexis Christoforous, honorary transportation correspondent, joins us now with more on this.
That
Hey,
title
Alexis.
belongs to you, my friend, but I'm helping out. Well, we know that Memorial Day weekend just around the corner. The countdown is on, and the summer travel season is heating up, both in the skies and on the roads, where travel is expected to be the busiest in nearly 2 decades. This morning, the TSA bracing for a record-setting travel season.
This summer is going to be our busiest year on record without question.
The agency predicting a 15% increase in summer travelers, with some days expected to top 3 million people at America's airports. It all gets started with the upcoming Memorial Day weekend. That, too, is expected to shatter records. But unlike last summer, which was marred by massive flight delays and cancellations,
it's not okay because people have planned these vacations for like a long time.
this summer, the airlines say they're ready for the increased demand.
We added pilots, we've added flight attendants. We're flying about 5% more flights with larger aircraft. We're fully staffed. We're ready to go.
However, there are shortages elsewhere. The FAA says it's still about 3,000 air traffic controllers short of staffing goals. This as AAA anticipates a record-breaking number of road trips this year, with over 38 million people expected to drive over the Memorial Day weekend alone. But get ready to pay more to fill up. According to AAA, the national average for a gallon of regular gas is $3.60. That's up 7 cents from a year ago. To get the most bang for your buck, experts say make sure your tires are properly inflated. Avoid sudden speeding up and slowing down to increase fuel efficiency, and pack a lighter load. The heavier the car, the more energy it takes to move. And to avoid the worst traffic this Memorial Day holiday, AAA says try to hit the road Thursday before 11 a.m. or after 6 p.m. and on the return home after 7 p.m. on Monday. Later is better.
That's a nice
Taking
long
notes.
Memorial Day
You did a
weekend.
great job.
Exactly.
You did a great job.
Always, Alexis. Thank you so much.
All right.
We do want to turn now because Hollywood is reacting to the death of beloved character actor Dabney Coleman. Coleman specialized in playing unlikable villains like the nasty TV director in Tootsie and the chauvinistic boss in 9 to 5. Fellow actor Ben Stiller posted a tribute on social media, writing, "He was so good at what he did, it's hard to imagine movies and television of the last 40 years without him." Dabney Coleman was 92 years old.
What a legend. All right. So let's talk about the album title. What did you mean?
It's kind of my take on like it is what it is, lo que será, será kind of thing. It's not really biblical, but if you can, like if you want to go there, you could. So it's up for interpretation, but like basically like there's like a higher power that kind of already kind of destined.
And that's a preview of an interview Gio did with Mexican-American artist Omar Apollo about his new album, God Said No.
Yeah, really intriguing title.
Yeah.
And also actor Pedro Pascal lends his voice to one of the songs there. The two are friends, and Omar says Pedro really loved the last track, Glow, so Omar had him speak on it. He actually recorded, he had a voice memo sent, and then he just used the voice memo on the track.
Wait, did Pedro sing for it too?
No, it's like a speaking.
Okay.
It's like a speaking role.
It's like the Mandalorian,
It's really cool.
like, singing to you. That's interesting.
You can check out the full interview on abcnews.com.
All right, well, now to our GMA cover story. New research on Wegovy finding that patients continually taking the medication maintained weight loss after 4 years. ABC News medical correspondent Dr. Darian Sutton Sutton, our dear friend, joins us now with What to Know. Good morning. So great to have you. Okay, so this study, does that mean that they had to take it for those 4 years to keep that weight loss?
Yes, so this study comes from Novo Nordisk, the maker of Wegovy. Important disclaimer, but still peer-reviewed nonetheless. And it was the longest study to date. They followed these patients with overweight status or obesity, also dealing with underlying heart disease. And they found, Janae, that the majority of that weight loss, approximately on average 10%, was lost in the first 15 months. And it was sustained and kept off for 4 years. So this is the longest study to date answering that question. When the weight comes off, does it stay off?
Okay, and here's a big question a lot of people are asking, and maybe this study lends something to it. Like what does this tell us about using this drug long term?
You know, we're still waiting for the ongoing data collection, basically looking at 10, 20 years in the terms of weight loss. This medications and this group of medications has been studied before, mainly for the beginning when it started for diabetes, and now we're seeing expanding indications, expanding uses, and we're also paying attention to the adverse effects. For example, the most common symptom, it seems, was nausea, which approximately 17% of patients withdrew because of that.
And we are seeing more and more headlines on all of these weight loss drugs. Is this changing how we look at obesity now?
Gio, I hope so. You know, obesity and the status of being overweight, I think we should look at it as a diagnosis. And I think regardless of how much someone diets or exercises, we all lose weight differently. We all gain weight differently. We all hold weight differently, mainly due to the complex metabolic process that's associated with that factor. So I think as we step down the line of understanding obesity, we step away from shame and stigma and step toward the realization that this is a huge breakthrough that can help likely millions of people while keeping a critical eye, and of course, on the adverse and the risks that come with it.
And this being a breakthrough, and we're hearing so much more about it, so it really is shifting the conversation. But what happens, because folks need to know, if they do stop taking the medication, does that impacts how that weight stays off, right?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, again, the obesity itself is a chronic condition, meaning just like other diagnoses of hypertension or high blood pressure and diabetes, when you stop the treatment, you'll likely get the symptoms back. So unfortunately, we're seeing that. In terms of whether or not patients can taper it down or decrease it or maybe skip doses, we're still trying to understand that benefit.
Because we're learning as we're going along.
Absolutely.
Right? New these studies. Thank you so much,
of course.
Dr. Sutton.
All right, it is International Museum Day, and this year's theme for museums is it's museums for education and research, and with opportunities to celebrate across the world, both in person and virtually. Will Gans is back with some of the highlights of the best places to visit.
I'm here virtually, too.
Yes.
This is just a hologram of me, you guys. Right now, I'm in the Louvre. All right, it's International Museum Day, a global event that's taken place every year since 1977. And last year, more than 37,000 museums participated in International Museum Day with events and deals in honor of these cultural hubs of our communities. So here's what you can do. You can go to the International Museum Day website. There's an interactive map showing museums in your area to check out today, many offering in-person opportunities. Here in New York, for example, the Skyscraper Museum is offering free guided tours today. In Fort Worth, Texas, free admission to the Irving Archives and Museum, plus they're giving out free museum swag. And at the Museum of the West in Arizona, you can create your rate for entry there in Scottsdale. And if you can't get to a museum in person today, some of the nation's best museums are offering exclusive virtual deals today only for International Museum Day. The Smithsonian is hosting a free webinar centered on postage stamps and national identity. In Miami, Geo, virtual guided tours of the Lowe Art Museum.
Really cool museum.
And today could be prime for a virtual family field trip to TikTok. The social media platform has racked up more than 600,000 unique posts with the hashtag museum, offering up-close looks at some far-flung museums. TikTok is also the primary sponsor for the Costume Institute's Sleeping Beauties exhibit at the Met, with content creators sharing the inspo behind this year's Met Gala. Finally, this one is really cool, and I know I'm late to the party here. Check out Google Arts and Culture. It's an app. You can download it for iPhone or Android, and it showcases high-res images and videos of artworks and cultural artifacts from more than 2,000 museums throughout the world.
And you can put it right here?
So right now, I'm looking at Van Gogh's self-portrait at the Musée d'Orsay in Paris. And you can, like, it gives you, like, first-person, viewing capabilities, so you can walk down the halls.
I see the resemblance. Yeah.
Me and Van Gogh. I have both my
I was
ears.
Gonna say,
I have
you got one
and
too many ears, my friend.
At least it's not Frida Kahlo.
Yeah.
I love Frida.
I love it. Thank you, Will Gans. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, it is time now for Deals and Steals, and I believe, am I walking over here? I'm walking over here.
Sashay.
Deals and steals this morning. We're highlighting skincare solutions, great products to help your skin look fresh and healthy. I'm going to try not to trip on everything as I come over here to my friend Tori Johnson. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you. What do we got?
I feel like people think we're cousins. People ask me all the time, like, the Johnson.
We're not cousins?
I don't know. You never know. We need to do one of those, like, 23andMe.
I
anyway,
know. Yeah.
Okay, we're starting with Tanceuticals. One of the easiest way to get a streak-free, beautiful color, no orange tan. What I also love about the body lotion is it got a fresh coconut scent. So a lot of times tanner has a little bit of a weird smell to it.
Yes.
Fresh tanner scent. Now, I'm not accusing you of knowing what tanner
No,
smells like,
I
but
know nothing about
sunless tanner is a good thing. And then these are really fabulous. These are drops, tanning drops for face that you can add to your moisturizer. And what's great about it is that it allows you then to control just the coloring that you want.
Yeah.
So those are good. The mitt, super important.
This is so you don't get like the orange palms, right?
I think you might have experience.
I know
with
nothing
this
about this stuff.
There you go. Everything slashed in half starting at $6.
All right. Let's. We're caring for our teeth, right?
So we've got teeth and face. Foreo is a leader in sonic technology in beauty devices.
Ooh.
So that's the stuff that vibrates and cleans. And so we've got the toothbrush that cleans, the cleansing facial products. We also have so it cleans faster, easier, gets all of those impurities out.
This is intense.
It's intense.
Very soft.
It's intense. It does its thing for you. It's intense, so you don't have to be.
I like that. Okay, good.
And then we've got the Bear, which is their FDA-cleared device. That one is specifically a microcurrent, helps with facial defining, also depuffing, which is a good thing. Everything slashed in half from Foreo, starting at $39.50.
Okay.
Hands, gloves in a bottle. So if you've got dry, cracked hands, so we're gonna put we'll put a little bit here, but really what you want also. Wow, your hands are so soft.
Really?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I
wish you guys could the super soft hands over here. So this is a shielding lotion. Maybe you're already using this shielding lotion for dry, cracked hands. Also really great if you've got any kind of skin conditions like eczema, psoriasis, dermatitis. Really great for that. Good for sensitive skin. It's a product that our viewers know and love. Today's a good day to stock up because it's all 50% off from gloves in a bottle.
I was just going to say how cracked my hands are.
No, they're very, very soft.
You're
doing whatever you're doing, keep it up.
Soft hands.
Rinse, Bath and Body, all made in America, travel-friendly, clean beauty products with natural ingredients. Janae was already telling me that she's running a little bit low on her body oil, so she's prepared to stock up on this. This is instant glowing skin this is body, not face. Instant glowing skin. Everybody knows it's like a TV secret. It's a fabulous one. We also have their shower steamers, their essential rollers. This is really fabulous if you want to tap your inner esthetician. This is a powder face mask that you are going to mix with a liquid depending on your skin type. So oily skin, you could use a drop of tomato juice. Normal skin, water or milk. If you've got dry skin, a little olive oil. So you get to do your own home remedy and look fabulous. Phenomenal prices, $3 to $11. Then, lighting. You should never attempt to do beauty or grooming without proper lighting.
Good point. That's right.
So we've got this from PMD. It's got 3 different levels here. 5 times the magnification.
You can adjust the kelvins.
Yeah, you can.
I know about kelvins.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
It's also, you can tilt this any which way that you need it to be able to see better. And it's got this magnification here, 5 times magnification. I said so that you could see brows and details better.
Like an eyelash?
Yeah, exactly.
Mascara?
Janae said to me, or so you can get in on the pimples even closer.
So
we know what she's doing with that. 55% off and free shipping from PMD. And then finally,
Janae.
We're ending on our feet. This is feet, podiatrist-approved foot care. So they come little booties like this, and the formula is all. You're not going to put this one on because it's got wet formula in here.
I don't want that.
Thank you for being willing to participate.
I thought you were,
No, this has got the formula in here that would give you super soft feet. It either is instant hydration or the kind that is an exfoliating mask that's going to take a few days to get rid of all that dead stuff. We also have their foot spray. If you've got foot odor or want that
I can do right now, right?
You could, but we'll stop. $15 and free shipping from Feet.
You're the best, Tori. Cousin Tori Johnson, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we've partnered with all these companies. You can find out all the deals on our website, goodmorningamerica.com. And we will be right back after this. We've got more from the highly anticipated movie, Furiosa. Stay with us.
Hey, I'm Andy Mitchell, a New York Times bestselling author.
And I'm Sabrina Kohlberg, a morning television producer.
We're moms of toddlers and best friends of 20 years.
And we both love to talk about being parents, yes, but also pop culture.
So we're combining our two interests by talking to celebrities, writers, and fellow scholars of TV and movies.
Cinema, really.
About what we all can learn from the fictional moms we love to watch.
From ABC Audio and Good Morning America, Pop Culture Moms is out now wherever you listen to podcasts.
Married moms in the suburbs. They've been called soccer moms. They've been called security moms.
Pamela Wilk is a so-called soccer mom.
Those so-called Walmart moms.
She calls herself a hockey mom.
I love those hockey moms.
The hockey mom trying to connect with the soccer moms.
In the 1990s, the idea of soccer moms as the quintessential swing voter took hold. Elections could be won or lost based on a candidate's ability to appeal to them. But were quote-unquote soccer moms actually the deciding factor? In a new series on the 538 Politics podcast, we take a look back at conventional wisdom from past elections with a critical lens. Where did that wisdom come from, and does it hold up today? Find the Campaign Throwback series in the 538 Politics feed wherever you get your podcasts.
It's written into legal documents. Each Spanish and Portuguese king has the right to lay claim to any non-Catholic land they discover and to replace its government with Catholic rule.
This is a lie.
No.
Do you swear by your God?
Yes, I do.
So good. Back now on GMA with a clip, and good news for Shogun fans. FX and Hulu have not one, but 2 more seasons of the breakout hit in development.
Yes.
Yeah, Whit is so excited. It's one of his favorites. The 10-episode first season is FX's most watched show ever, and it's now available to binge on Hulu. Isn't that cool?
It's such a good show.
Yeah,
if anybody hasn't seen it, like, you have to. I mean, the cinematography is just phenomenal. You know, the show was shot in Vancouver.
No.
Yes. Yes, in Vancouver.
As many shows are.
Well, yes, but in not Japan, because there were some pandemic issues in the beginning, so they started shooting in Vancouver, and it was perfect.
And we think it's so cool that you know that fun fact.
Fun fact. Love the show. Looking forward to the next couple seasons. First, let's take a look at some of the other big stories that we're following this morning. The world's top-ranked golfer, Scottie Scheffler, calling his arrest a big misunderstanding. Scheffler now facing multiple charges, including second-degree assault of a police officer. He was arrested and taken off in handcuffs outside the PGA Championship in Louisville, Kentucky. That was Friday morning, but then released in time to make his tee time.
And you might want to check your pantry. Yogi brand tea is recalling nearly 55,000 boxes of Echinacea immune support tea bags because of possible pesticide contamination. It's a total of almost 900,000 organic tea bags sold nationwide. For more information, please visit our website there.
And gymnastics history set to be made tonight. For the first time, 3 all-around Olympic gold medalists will compete on the same floor. 2012 champion Gabby Douglas, 2016 champion Simone Biles, and 2021 champion Sunisa Lee. My goodness, they are all competing in the Core Hydration Classic in Hartford, Connecticut. The 3 champions are all vying for a spot on this year's Olympic team that will head to Paris. Those women,
incredible
oh my
strength.
gosh, just
Incredible
unbelievable
strength.
what they can do with their bodies.
Yep, absolutely. And we're going to turn now to the blockbuster movie Furiosa. It is the latest chapter in the apocalyptic Mad Max franchise, and Maggie Rulli sat down with the stars. Take a look.
You, me.
After nearly a decade, Furiosa is back. Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, the long-awaited prequel to Oscar-winning Fury Road and the 5th installment of George Miller's epic Mad Max dystopian saga, starring Chris Hemsworth.
I am the great Dementus.
Anya Taylor-Joy.
I'm Furiosa!
And Tom Burke. The 3 often doing their own stunts.
I'm riding the Chariot motorbike vehicle, which was insane, which was inspired by a real Chariot motorcycle race in Melbourne. They were my kind of stunts, you know.
Anya started training a year before filming for scenes like this one, which took 78 days to film.
Because it all takes place on the rig, I had it very broken up in my mind of like, okay, I'm gonna spend 3 months underneath the rig. I'm gonna spend 1 month on the side. And like the day that I finally got into the cabin with Tom, I was like, oh my God. Like,
no, I love doing that. And I don't know, a guy who directed a lot of the second unit stuff that we did on that, he kept coming up to me going, you must be very frustrated. And I grabbed his arm one day and went, I love this. Forever.
As Warlord Dementis, Chris fitted for prosthetics, looking and sounding like we've never seen before.
Am I understanding this correctly, that one of your inspirations for your voice were seagulls?
Yeah, there are a few things.
It's a really cool.
I find seagulls are quite
a
obnoxious little animal, and then thought of the sort of sideshow circus kind of entertainer. Step right up, and it just sort of fit the flamboyance of the character and the contrast to Furiosa.
The movie pushing the limits of dark and disturbing.
What do you guys do on like lunch breaks? Is everyone just walking around
Yeah.
in full makeup and costumes?
Straight up.
Yeah. And no one really left the
what it
set.
is.
They're sort of eating your sandwich or whatever, looking at the monster trucks and the bikes and so on and the costumes, and it's like, it was like being in a museum.
Yeah.
And as Tom said, everybody had that same energy and enthusiasm and gratitude, I think.
For Good Morning America, I'm Maggie Rulli, ABC News, Cannes, France.
That looks like a lot of fun. Furiosa is in theaters on Friday, and make sure you tune in to GMA on Monday because we've got Chris Hemsworth live on the show.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
An exclusive reveal, real simple, sharing with us their Best and Brightest awards, and their editor-in-chief, Lauren Iannotti, is here with some of the items on the list. Thank you so much, Lauren, for being with us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so let's kick things off. A small but mighty steamer, and you said this one lets you really get in there.
Yeah, so these products are all products that we tested for our Best and Brightest. It's a collection of like the hardcore tested, gonna perform for you, make your life easier, make your life better. And we start with this steamer. You're welcome, right? Because don't we need that? So we start with this steamer. A lot of people are really married to their iron, but this steamer is gonna make you wanna forget your iron. Tiny but mighty, super long cord, heats up in 40 seconds, and you don't have to take out the ironing board, you just get at it. It helps with creases. Look, it's actually functioning for us there. Careful, it's hot. It's hot. Yeah, but it hits you with great steam. It works on iron, it works on linen, cotton, all fabrics. It outperformed every other. Outperformed every other one that we had. We love this. We love this steamer.
Okay, so next up, a mop that it got a perfect score.
Perfect score.
Wow.
So we have labs that we test this stuff hardcore, right?
Yeah.
And so this is the mop. This is the best mop that we found. It's the Swiffer. It's got the built-in liquid, so you just squirt and push, right?
Yeah.
So we put all kinds of stuff on the floor. We stomped on the floor with muddy shoes. We put melted butter. We put like,
what a fun
oh my God,
job.
we did, totally. And then we wanted to see what would come up the quickest. It was hardwood floors. It was grouted floors. This got a perfect score all around.
Really?
Yep, the Swiffer Power Mop.
Even on wood floors?
On wood floors.
Does it leave the streak?
It doesn't. And what it does, because it cleans it right up and it absorbs as it goes, has just the right amount of fluid that comes out right when you squirt it, right? And had the least amount of squirts, the least amount of Swifts. Yeah.
Lauren, I'm going to try this at home and I'm going to circle back.
Come back to me. You're going to love it.
Kitchen storage.
All right. So kitchen storage is a pain point, right?
Yes.
Like, and we all are like,
so many things.
Right. So many things, so much to store. So we love these for 3 reasons. This is a Rubbermaid 10-piece kitchen storage set, food storage set. So this is one for dry food and it wins for wet food. It's got, I know, it's like double teaming. So it's got this gasket and this clickable top, so it definitely holds everything in there. They're really, really sturdy, right?
Yeah.
See-through, clear.
Yeah.
And we tested them with wet food, and here's how we tested them. We put in tomato sauce and chopped yellow onions and left it there to stew for 3 days.
Okay. There's the eel. It was early, but yeah, I knew
yellow onion.
Yeah,
I know. Sorry, it's early. And we washed them out. No stains, no scent.
That means not even the red stain, like
none of the red stain and the onions.
And no scent.
I know. And we left it for 3 days. It was like fermented.
Gosh.
Yeah. These things are amazing. They're
okay, good to know. And now it's a bit of a splurge, but this nonstick.
So this is our favorite nonstick stainless steel skillet. You can, if you want to feel it, it's really sturdy, but it's not heavy.
Yeah.
And it's really well done. So it's a little bit of a splurge at 120, but this is the workhorse of your kitchen. We tested it against all of the others, and we found this one to be. We did a drop test. Throw it on the floor, held up. We had everyone
Should we test it now?
Yeah, I know. It's a little loud. I don't know if we want to do that to our audience. We'll wake them right up. But we tested it against, we had home cooks test it, like total novices, and we had private chefs test it. And everyone to a person said that it felt durable, it performed well, they cooked delicate butter sauces, chicken piccata, all the things. It came out beautifully. And it is a little bit more expensive, but this is a workhorse in your kitchen, so you're going to want this to be the good one. So and you'll get it back.
Seriously, you guys testing these things out and having it easy for us, I appreciate it, because you wonder these things, but how do you test it and get all the information? Thank you for what you do.
We did what you're going to do in your kitchen, we did for you. So
Thank you. Yes, there you go. You've got it all right here, and you can shop all of these products by scanning the QR code on your screen.
And now to a story of hope after a disaster. A group of students whose community was devastated by the Maui wildfires now have a chance to get inspired by visiting another community across the Pacific that emerged from a tragedy. Becky Worley shows us more about the initiative.
And then you put wasabi.
Wasabi.
Here in northeastern Japan, Lahaina high school students are rolling themselves into another culture.
That's right.
4,000 miles from the teens' burned out town, survivors of another disaster here share wisdom. The 11 students are part of a cultural exchange program called Kibo for Maui. The goal? Give these Lahaina teens hope, Mana'olana in Hawaiian, or Kibo in Japanese.
I was born and raised in
The driving force behind this trip is Miku Narisawa.
When I saw the wildfires, then I immediately said, okay, this is something that we should do for the kids in Lahaina.
Just over a decade ago, Miku was a survivor, just like these kids. In 2011, Miku's hometown was completely destroyed by the Great East Japan earthquake and the tsunami that followed. It killed tens of thousands of people.
Our town was destroyed. We lived with my grandparents, and after that, we have to relocate to a temporary housing for 2 years. Same height as the tsunami.
But now, showing the kids her rebuilt hometown, she says it's living proof they have a future, and Lahaina will rise from the ashes.
This trip really gave me hope.
There is still hope for us to recover. There's still hope for a better future.
For Good Morning America, Becky Worley, ABC News, Japan.
And our thanks to Becky Worley for that report. The program hopes to bring even more hope to Maui. A second cohort of students is scheduled to travel to Japan in July. And coming up here, Dr. Frank Anderson joins us to talk about his new book, To Be Loved. Stay with us.
The first ever criminal trial of a former president is underway in Manhattan. It's one of potentially 4 trials facing former President Trump as he makes his third bid for the White House. What do voters think about his culpability, and would a guilty verdict make a difference in the election? I'm Galen Druk, and every Monday and Thursday on the 538 Politics podcast, we break down the latest news from the campaign trail. We sort through the noise and zoom in on what really matters, using data and research as we go. That's 538 Politics every Monday and Thursday, wherever you get your podcasts.
Rev up your savings at Dennis Mahoney Motor Group's used car sales event. Join us for our massive used car sales event, May 10th to May 20th. Unlock unbeatable deals on our extensive selection of pre-owned vehicles. From sleek hatchbacks to spacious SUVs, we have the perfect car for you. Dennis Mahoney, exit 5M50 and Kilbarrack. Check out our website, dennismahoney.ie. But hurry, these deals won't last long.
And we are back now on GMA with a world-renowned trauma treatment expert opening up about his own life in a new memoir. It's called To Be Loved. It's a story of truth, trauma, and transformation. Please welcome Dr. Frank Anderson. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
So this is an incredibly powerful story, especially because you obviously help other people, but in this case, you had to reach into your own soul and into your own trauma. So that's why it's so powerful. Was it difficult to do that?
Yeah, there were moments of panic when I was writing. I'd wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning often, write, and say, oh my gosh, am I going to say this? Am I really going to put this out there? So it was really, there were moments of vulnerability.
You did.
Oh, and I did. Yes, I did. But, you know, I get this wave of calm over me, and it was like, this story needs to be told. Let people know we all go through this. So I just kind of moved through it. And here we are.
At the end of the book, you said that was written in real time. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so what ended up happening, and I thought I'm writing a memoir about my life. I had no idea that my life would unfold in a way to support the memoir. It was really incredible. My dad was sick. He was really failing. I'd fly back to Chicago to help my sisters and my mom take care of him. We had these incredible conversations. Like, we struggled most of our whole life, you know, and I hated my dad most of my whole life. But at the end of his life, we had these incredible moments together. I helped him transition, I helped him die, and we healed this really tumultuous relationship we've had most of our life. I'd get on a plane, type, cry. So it was like my life was unfolding as I wrote the memoir.
You almost were your own therapist.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've been in therapy for a long time, but there was nothing quite as healing as being with the person who has harmed you and getting way beyond that to a point of loving the person who hurt you. Like, it's the most freeing thing, and I want everybody to be able to experience that, honestly.
What is the message you want people to take away from this book?
Yeah. I think there's three primary messages. One is the title, Everyone Deserves to Be Loved. I've spent most of my life trying to be loved. All my successes are rooted in that, right? The other is we've all harmed and we've all been harmed.
Yeah.
I think we other people way too much, and I think we need to cross the divide if we're really going to heal from trauma. The last message is everyone can heal. No matter what you've been through, you deserve to be loved, and healing's possible.
And one way to start is by reading this book.
There you
Dr.
go.
Frank Anderson, thank you so much. And To Be Loved is available right now.
Yep.
And you can get more GMA in your day with GMA live streaming on ABC News Live this morning at 9 and 11 and at 1 p.m. Eastern.
And Oh Baby on local ABC stations.
That's right.
Have a good one. We'll see you tomorrow.
Married moms in the suburbs. They've been called soccer moms. They've been called security moms.
Pamela Wilk is a so-called soccer mom.
Those so-called Walmart moms.
She calls herself a hockey mom.
I love those hockey moms.
The hockey mom trying to connect with the soccer moms.
In the 1990s, the idea of soccer moms as the quintessential swing voter took hold. Elections could be won or lost based on a candidate's ability to appeal to them. But were quote-unquote soccer moms actually the deciding factor? In a new series on the 538 Politics podcast, we take a look back at conventional wisdom from past elections with a critical lens. Where did that wisdom come from, and does it hold up today? Find the Campaign Throwback series in the 538 Politics feed wherever you get your podcasts.